In a world of rat and ruin, dear, you're my shelter in the glow. With your pit boy on your wrist.
Welcome back to the Dusty Signal, my little devils. Pull up close and pour you a glass of the good stuff. Because today's tape has old Nady boy searching for answers to questions he didn't know needed asking. You ever been there, sugar? Experiencing something that is both familiar and foreign at the same time. In this wasteland, what's the most dangerous thing you can encounter? A Deathclaw? A super mutant with a mini nuke and a death wish? Maybe. But tonight, our boy Nate runs into something that stops him cold in a way that none of those things have managed yet. A stranger, with nothing to offer but 2 words and open arms. Funny what pierces the armor sometimes. Tape 19 is now rolling.
Log 019, November 11th, 2287, Oberlin Station. Settlers are already out working the crops. I can hear them through the wall. I'm going to get this down before I sleep. A few hours is all I need. Then, back on the road. I left Sanctuary Hills mid-morning yesterday, November 10th. Preston had a settlement flagged. Oberlin Station. Raider problems. Not far off my route back toward Diamond City. I told him I'd handle it on the way through. But the road between here and there had other ideas, and the trip took longer than I'd anticipated. First stop, a diner I recognized. Nora and I used to eat there. I don't know why that hit me as hard as it did. Just a building, just a sign. But for a second, I could see us sitting in a booth talking about our plans and sharing a milkshake. I kept moving that way. There was a situation out front that looked pretty intense. A woman named Trudy was going head-to-head with a man named Wolfgang. Classic wasteland shakedown. He'd been supplying her son with chems. She'd had enough. He wanted payment in supplies and was ready to take them by force. I walked up. Wolfgang's people drew on me immediately, told me to mind my business. I told them that would be impossible because I'd made it my business. Drugs take and destroy, and the people peddling them are the same in every era. Doesn't matter if it's before the bombs fell or after. I told them to get their pea shooters out of my face before I got angry. I was banking that these guys were just like most other wannabe tough guys that preyed on the weak. Bullies are all the same. They want control and want to feel powerful, and they do this by portraying themselves as strong. However, when these fools are confronted with real strength, they will usually back down. I got them to stand down, talked to Trudy, tried to find a middle ground. Then, some of those mechanist robots showed up and shot at everyone. Of course they did. Trudy and I were inside the diner and dove behind the counter for cover. Wolfgang thought I'd sent them, took a shot at me. I dropped him where he stood. I turned my attention to the robots. I had 2 pulse grenades and pulled one out. I then maneuvered the robots into a cluster and dropped them both with 1 grenade. Wolfgang and his man didn't survive the exchange. Doesn't matter, and is probably for the best anyway. Trudy and her boy are fine. I traded for some ammo and medical supplies when everything calmed down. Told her I'd check in from time to time. She could be a valuable supply asset as I build out the network between here and the glowing sea. Followed the railroad tracks south. Sniper rifle earned its keep again on a pack of wild mongrels. Kept my distance. Clean shots. Bypassed a stretch of boxcars and nuclear waste barrels east of the tracks. Feral ghoul territory. Went around. Not worth the ammo spend. That's when I came up on Jalbert Brothers' disposal. It's a junkyard. There was smoke rising in the air from inside the fence. I combat sprinted across open ground and came in on the high side. Mole rats, 18 to 20 of them. Switched to the combat shotgun. Kept moving. You stand still, these things burrow under you and come up from every direction. Fast and mean. Took more shells than I'd like to admit, but I cleared them. Then I saw the bodies. Not mole rat kills. Not battle damage. These people were just there. Laid out near the radiation piles. Like they'd made beds next to barrels of nuclear waste. On purpose. Bald, rags for clothes, no weapons I could see, no tactical purpose for being in that location at all. What kind of person camps next to nuclear waste intentionally? Holy shit. At every turn, there's just more insanity to deal with. I don't have an answer for this one. I don't have enough information to even try and form a working theory. But I want more intel on whoever these people were. Are there more of them? Is this isolated behavior or something organized? I filed it away for now. The radiation was too strong to search thoroughly anyway. I need a suit before I can operate in environments like that, which brings me back to the glowing sea problem. This was just a few barrels, and I couldn't even get close enough to search the area properly. How in the hell am I going to go to the glowing sea? That would be like stepping into the barrels themselves. I took a few breaths to calm myself. One problem at a time. One answer at a time. I looked around a little. I did find a modified sniper rifle in a trunk in the barn. Significant score. Better than what I'm currently carrying. I'll assess it properly when I have time and am back at a weapons bench, though. Made it to Oberlin Station at 1945.
Got the situation from the settlers. Raiders holed up at Backstreet Apparel, shaking them down on a schedule. Different settlement, same old song. It's a sad thing when a couple of people just trying to get a little ahead of their crappy situation has to live in fear of some asshats that think they're badasses by picking on the helpless. I told the settlers that I'd take care of the raiders for them. They seemed relieved. On the approach through the woods, I spotted a contact in power armor engaging 4 super mutants. I was lining up a shot to assist when one of the mutants rounded the corner, running straight towards the person in power armor, ticking mini-nuke in hand. Suicide bomber. Holy fucking hell! The blast was significant. That suicide mutant took out everyone, the fighter in power armor and his super mutant buddies all at once. I'm going to need to add that to my threat assessment for super mutants from now on. Some of them are apparently willing to detonate nuclear devices at close range to take down a target with zero regard for collateral damage. That's a new category of problem. I waited for the dust to settle to approach. The contact in power armor, I got a better look when things settled, was Brotherhood of Steel. That's what the markings said. I've heard that name somewhere. Maybe people in Diamond City were talking about them? Good Neighbor? I can't quite place it right now. I need more intel on these guys. Day one, I met a guy named Duke. He runs a group called the Atom Cats, and they fix up power armor. This person was not that. This person is military through and through. Dog tags, Marine haircut. This group is well-funded, well-trained, and could be an ally or an enemy. I just don't know enough to make that call yet. They fly vertibirds, though. I heard one in the distance. All I know now is they operate in power armor and engage super mutants without hesitation. Beyond that, I have nothing solid. I kept my distance, watched, filed it away in my ever-growing someday list. Before I make contact with any organized military force in this Commonwealth, I want intelligence. Who they are, what they want, whether they're connected to the Institute or operating independently, whether they're an asset or a threat. For now, observed and cataloged. Nothing more. I moved on to Backstreet Apparel. Dark by the time I got there. Full perimeter of raiders. Couldn't just take the leader. Placed frag mines on the approach routes and took a pot shot to draw them out. Most came running. The mines handled the exterior. I went in with a combat shotgun at the ready. 25 shells left. I had to be strategic. Door opened quiet. Old, but well-maintained, ironically. Expansive room. 2 raiders at the far end arguing about something. They didn't see me. Hand grenade. Rolled it right at them. 2 down before they knew I was there. Turret around the corner almost took my head off, though. Shotgun handled it. Cleared the rest of the floor room by room. 2 on the stairs, 2 at the top, 2 on the roof. Building cleared in approximately 45 minutes. I started to walk back to the settlement. The settler woman came out when she saw me coming. She hugged me. I almost didn't know what to do with that. My hands just hung there for a second before I figured out where to put them. I can't remember the last time someone just did that. No agenda, no transaction. Just gratitude expressed the most human way available. She pulled back and looked me in the eyes and said, "Thank you." That was it. All I needed. A simple thank you. 2 people on this settlement, just trying to get through another day, growing food for survival, scared every time they hear boots on the road. Real people. Actual human beings with actual lives they're trying to hold together. I've been so deep in the mission, the Institute, the glowing sea, Kellogg, the dreams, that I think I needed that reminder. There are real people out here worth fighting for. Not abstractions, not strategic assets, people. I'm going to rest here for a few hours. Then, it's back on the road toward Diamond City. I need to resupply properly before the glowing sea. Steel, gears, springs, oil for the power armor repair, Radaway, Rad-X, stim packs, ammo, and a radiation suit. That's the critical item. Preston didn't have one and didn't know where I could get one. I need to find one before I can even think about entering the glowing sea. Power armor can handle it, if it's properly sealed and repaired. Mine is nowhere near ready for this trip. The modified sniper rifle needs assessment. Trudy is a new supply node. The Brotherhood needs watching. The Jalbert brothers situation needs more intel. Lots of threads. All of them matter. The glowing sea is still weeks away at this rate. I need to accelerate that timeline, though. Every day I spend building the network and gathering supplies is a day I'm more likely to survive getting to Virgil. But it's also a day that the Institute can get to him before me. Brian Virgil is the key. He went rogue from the Institute. He knows things nobody else out here knows. I just have to get to him first. The settlers are working the crops outside. I can hear them. That's a good sound. This is Staff Sergeant Nathaniel Campbell. Out.
Children of Adam. That's who those people were at Jalbert Brothers, sleeping next to radiation barrels, bald heads, rags, living in the glow like it's a blessing instead of a slow death sentence. I've run across them before. They worship radiation. Call it the division of the atom, the great force that split the world and remade it. They believe exposure to radiation is sacred, that it brings them closer to their God. Whatever. Believe what you want, sugar. I believe what I see. I've lived in this wasteland my whole life. I've been hungry and cold and hurt and hunted. I've been in rooms where I did things I will carry forever. I've called out to whatever might be listening more times than I'd care to admit. Nobody answered. No invisible force showed up to pull me out of the dark. No divine hand steadied mine when I needed it most. What saved me, every single time, was me. my choices. My feet moving when everything in me said stop. So, no, I don't believe in an invisible person guiding me through life. If you do, good on ya. Believe in whatever it is that brings you strength. Me? I'll believe in my own ability to keep going, thank you very much. Our boy Nate hasn't let us know what, or even if, he believes in anything larger than himself. He's even buried his wife and didn't mention beliefs in any real sense. I think he is operational at heart and would find it difficult to release control enough for faith in anything outside himself. But we just don't know, do we, sugar? And not knowing is okay. Just like it's okay that Nate doesn't know who the people camping out next to barrels of radiation are. He filed it. He'll find out when he finds out. Now, the Brotherhood of Steel. There's a name I know. I'm going to tell you something I don't talk about much, about a chapter of my life that I don't revisit often because it's complicated. The way things you loved that didn't love you back are always complicated. I was a scribe for the Brotherhood, for a while, a long time ago. But I was there long enough for it to matter. If you don't know what a scribe does, we were the keepers, the documenters, the ones who cataloged technology and knowledge and made sure it didn't disappear. While the knights and paladins went out and fought and bled and came back with pieces of the old world, we were the ones who figured out what those pieces meant, what they were, what they did, or could do. I was good at it too. Better than good, if I'm being honest. I had a mind for it, for the systems, for the way things connected to other things, for asking why something worked instead of just accepting that it did. That's where I learned how to get a broadcast signal up and running, how to coax power out of a dead generator, how to build something that reaches further than your own voice ever could. The Brotherhood gave me that. And for a while, I thought I'd found my place. I thought I'd found somewhere I fit. But the Brotherhood has rules. A lot of them. About who gets access to technology and who doesn't. About what knowledge is safe to share and what needs to be locked away. About what you are and what you're allowed to become inside their walls. Rules that told you who you were. And I've never been particularly good at being told what I am, let alone who I was going to be. This probably links back to our religion chat a minute ago. Ask anyone who's tried. I don't like being told anything. So, I left. But here's the thing about your friendly neighborhood brotherhood and leaving. They don't take kindly to that neither. I took what I'd learned and I walked out into the wasteland and I built something of my own. Something nobody could put rules on. Something nobody could tell me I wasn't allowed to have. This signal. No, the old Brotherhood doesn't like it when you start thinking with your own noggin, and they really don't like it when you split. And if you were to leave and maybe, take a few key pieces of tech, well, they wouldn't take that sitting down. Now, I'm not telling you that's what I did. What I can tell you is that they were, and likely still are, organized, disciplined, serious about what they believe in. Whether that's good news or bad news for Nate, I genuinely don't know yet. But I'd have told him exactly what he told himself. Watch, wait, gather intel. Don't commit until you know what you're committing to. Nate's a smart man. Now, Trudy. A woman holding her ground at a diner in the middle of nowhere, protecting her boy, running a supply post, trading what she has for what she needs. Nate filed her as a supply asset, which is what she is. But she's also something else. She's evidence that people are building things out here. Small things, fragile things, things that could disappear if the wrong boots come down the road. It's worth holding on to, worth coming back to, and it's worth defending. And it will be defended should any of y'all Brotherhood decide to come a-knockin'. And then there's the settler woman at Oberlin Station that walked out and hugged him. Just hugged him. And his hands hung there for a second because he didn't know where to put them. I've thought about that image more than I expected to since I first heard this tape. Because here is a man who has cleared vaults and fought Deathclaws and knelt beside dying men and stayed militaristic the whole time. A man who's been running on grief and mission focus and adrenaline for 19 days straight. And a stranger's arms stopped him cold. Not a threat, not a weapon, not another problem to solve. Just warmth, kindness, offered without condition. He said it reminded him that there are real people out here worth fighting for. But Sugar, I think it reminded him of something else too. That he is a real person. Not a weapon, not a mission, not a ghost walking through a world that ended while he was sleeping. But a person. With hands that didn't know where to go when someone was kind to them. That matters more than he knows right now. The glowing sea is getting closer. Nate knows the urgency. Every day he spends preparing is a day the Institute could reach Virgil first. He knows that. He feels it. But he also knows that rushing in unprepared is just a quick way of dying. And a dead man doesn't bring his son home. Patience and urgency living in the same chest. Just like the killer and the conscience. That's Nate Campbell. Keep the letters coming, my little devils. The courier network is always open, and Dusty's always reading. Stay close to the signal, Sugar. Stay alive. Stay strange. Dusty, out.
Stay close, my vault dweller. Don't roam too far from me. With you I build our paradise beneath the desert sea. Oh my Calvin, you make my heart far away.
This is Garrett Klein, the one-man creative force behind the Dusty Signal podcast and the solo creator for Classic Me Studio. The Dusty Signal is a fan fiction audio drama that's set in the Fallout 4 universe. Fallout and all related properties are owned by Bethesda Game Studios, and no copyright infringement is intended. This is and always will be a free, non-commercial production. Created, written, and produced by Garrett Klein for Classic Me Studio. Voices were created using 11 Labs AI voice technology. Original song, Vaulted Heart, was created using 11 Labs music generation software. Sound design from Audio Hero, 11 Labs, and My Imagination. Genuinely thank you for listening, and I hope you're enjoying it.